to do again is to remind us of where we have been from last week and frame this as well. So I'm going to share what we're going to talk about today by way of dealing with rejoicing and having hope. Go back and take a look at where we've been, and then also continue and find out that as well. So today, here's a question I have for you. How many have ever experienced difficult, challenging situations that try to take you out? Question is, how many of us have ever had hurtful, painful trials that push you to your limit and above? Anybody ever had that problem?
Yes.
How many have ever had some unexpected, uninvited, and unwelcome problems that completely changed your life? You didn't invite them, you thought you had moved and did not get afforded an address, and they found out where you were. And these things showed up on your doorstep and wanted to move in for life and completely change your life. So here's today. Let me say this is what we're focused on today. If you look up here, we are going to focus today on how to rejoice in the Lord always. And how to always have hope despite circumstances. We're going to focus on how do we rejoice in the Lord when?
Always.
And how do we always have hope in every situation in life? Wouldn't that be wonderful to know that I'm going to be able to rejoice? Here's the challenge, here's the situation, and I'm still going to find a way to rejoice always and always have hope in life. Now, you would have to agree with me. There have been some times where situations have occurred in our lives and hope looked like it left. Times, situations came up in our lives and it felt like we were not going to be able to rejoice at all. But the scripture we have today reminds us from Romans chapter 5, we'll look at 1 through 10, but particularly 3 through 4, about how we're able to rejoice in the Lord always, 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 and to always have hope, despite whatever situation, challenge, and issue we're dealing with as well. So here's the first, let's deal with the first part first. How do we rejoice in the Lord always? That's the first question. How do we rejoice? How do you think we rejoice in the Lord always? How do you think it's possible to rejoice in the Lord always? Anybody? Remember the word? All right, remember the word. Now let's go back and take a look at this. Because in the past, when I heard something about rejoicing in the Lord always, I thought it meant folk that go around, you see them all the time on work. How you doing today? Praise the Lord. How's everything going? Praise the Lord. That is not what rejoicing in the Lord always means. Because you're not going to feel like praise the Lord all the time. So what is it we're able to do? You ever have folk like that? Every time you see them, oh, God is good. And you know at the end of the day, they cut you out in the parking lot. The idea is about how do we rejoice in the Lord always. Now I want to give you a little subtitle because today, if you look on the very front of your bulletin, we're talking about being domiciled and reconciled. And this message pulls together those two concepts that seem to be divergent in a way to recognize that as well. But this idea of how we rejoice in the Lord always, I would ask that you write as a subtitle, somewhere on your notes there, make a choice to rejoice. If we're going to rejoice in the Lord always, we're going to have to make a choice to rejoice. We can choose to rejoice. We can choose to get mad. We can choose to get revenge. We can choose to get... But if we really want to be clear about rejoicing in the Lord always, the very first thing we have to do is make a choice to rejoice. At some point, I have made a choice. I'm going to hang on to my peace.
Yes.
You ever been there before? You ever let your peace go? Yes. You got to make a choice. You got to fight. Give it. You got to make a choice and you're going to hold on. So there has to be a choice made. Here is a situation that can take you out. Here is a situation that can take you down. Here's a situation that can turn you around. And we must make a choice to rejoice. So this November confession we've talked about all along. Let's read this together. I operate in a spirit of what? Central excellence. I am domiciled and reconciled. So we're going to go back and take a look at this. And we talk about always rejoicing in the Lord and always having hope is connected with our understanding of being domiciled. So it was so interesting. We talked about on Tuesday for Bible study this idea of being domiciled. And so Uncle Ronnie said, "Well, I thought you were talking about being domestic." So I guess his wife been working on him washing dishes. So it's good they want to wash dishes. That's what I'm talking about today. That's another message for another series. But I'm talking about being domiciled means a domicile is simply your home. A domicile is a place, is where you live. But I really want to talk to you even more importantly. A domicile is a dwelling place. It is an inhabited home. But this last one is what I want us to focus on. It's an abode. When you start talking about abiding in the words from John 15, it is not talking about just casually passing by. It's talking about always being there. So if you really want to think about what domicile means, it means this. It is being a permanent legal residence. That we're going to permanently stay in this place. Now, it is good if you're able to do like the flowers and fly all over the world and go back in and get frequent flower miles and not give your pastor in and to go back in for a birthday present. That is fine to do that if you want to do it. But after all that travel goes on, they go back home. The bill, when they get back home, you let the good power's not going to say, "I'm just not going to charge you this month because y'all been over in Europe." So your domicile is your permanent home. It's your permanent residence. It is not a vacation home. It is your permanent residence, domicile. So this idea is this person's permanent, fixed, or principal home or legal residence. It's a permanent legal residence. So here's the question. What should Christians possess permanently? What do we have access to permanently? A whole list of things. I just want to talk about a few. We've already talked about this one. Permanent what? Peace. Anybody love having peace? In fact, let me just tell you right now. Peace is one of the greatest gifts you can have.
Amen.
Don't have peace if you don't want to. Peace is one of the greatest gifts we can have. And when Mark chapter 5, verse 34, Jesus said to this woman, "Go in peace." The woman had an issue of blood. You've had a temporary situation for a while. You now go and experience life permanently removed from that temporary problem. Don't you think the problem you have right now is since it last always? It came to pass. And God said, you now go from your temporary state to your permanent state now. Permanent peace. Let me give you something else we talked about last week. Permanent what? Preparation. At some point, we got to start preparing to receive what we believe in God for. Amen, somebody. If you believe in God for a job, go and press your suit. If you believe in God for a man, go and buy some brute. At some point, you got to make up in your mind. You got to start preparing for what you believe in God for. It doesn't make any sense to pray for something and to not prepare for it. So there ought to be a time of permanent preparation. So read with me, if you would, from 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 13 from the ESV translation. Read this together with me. Therefore, prepare your minds for action, being sober-minded. Set your hope fully on the grace that be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. Prepare your hearts to know it. Prepare your minds to know you are already extraordinary. Prepare your mind to know that you are more than a conqueror. Come on, somebody. Prepare your mind to know what Jesus has already done. Prepare your mind to receive what the blood of Jesus has already made available. So are we prepared to receive all God's promise? Here's our next one. There has to be a time also of what? Permanent praise. Got to get your praise on, and it does not matter whether or not you go back in here and make it down here or not, or get some music or not. There has to be some permanent praise that goes on in our life. If you're waiting for the worship leaders to pump you up, if you're waiting for Uncle Ronnie to crank it up, at some point you got to say, no, I'm going to have some praise in my life permanently. If I can't get to the radio station, if it's 10 years ago and after 6 o'clock, it went down. I got to have at 6:01, I got to have a way to still have some permanent praise in my life. And again, just to be clear about our definition, the difference between praise and worship. Praise is what?
Reaction.
Reaction. Worship is what?
Reflection.
Praise God. Oh, praise God. So worship is my reflection. When I think, has God been good to anybody in here? I say, has God been good to anybody in here? I say, has God been good to anybody in here? So when I reflect and remember about how good God has been, that's worship. When I react to what I remember, that's my praise. So when I start thinking about where I was, that's my worship. And I start now waving my hand because of what God brought me out of, that's my praise. So my worship is my remembrance or my reflection. And my praise is my reaction. So that's why you can't dampen with how somebody else praises the Lord. At some point, because you don't know what they've been through. And you don't know how God has brought them through. And as a result of this, you got to give them freedom to praise God. I know y'all been to school sophisticated, just want to sit there, hallelujah. But every now and then, you got to remember where God has brought you from and how the devil tried to take you out. And God says, no, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. And sometimes the praise is going to be my reaction to the reflection I've had. Whenever we remember how good God is, whenever we reflect on how good God is, that's my worship. But my praise is my reaction after I reflect. So you can't react until you reflect. So you can't do praise and worship because what you reacting to? I'm reacting now to the reflection that goes on. So it's not praise and worship, but at this point, worship and praise. I praise him in the storm. We talked about before. How do you praise him in the storm? You got your notes already. We praise him by, first of all, doing what? Thanking God. Thanking God. There are times where we don't think circumstances warrant thanking God. There are times we don't feel like thanking God. But I'm telling you right now, if we want to get to a whole different level of spiritual maturity, I got to learn to thank God in everything and not for everything. I thank God in everything and not for everything. But not only thanking God, to also do what? Trust him, trust him, trust him. Right now, everybody here, other than me, is trusting that pew to keep you up. You didn't go back and get the measurements. You just figured right now, you don't care how many folk in that pew, you believe it's going to keep you up. You hadn't even thought about going outside this day. Like, whoa. But the idea is we're trusting. And we're going to trust a bit more than we trust God. I'm trusting God, the one who sent his only son to die for my sins, that now I can have favor and victory in life. I go in the midst of the storm, I got to learn to trust him. And also in the midst of the storm, got to already see the triumph in the spiritual before I see it in the natural. I got to learn to see the triumph in the spiritual before I even see it in the natural. In the natural, it seems like we've lost. In the spiritual, I already won. Let me make this big way. So I have a co-worker who's a huge Kentucky fan. And last week, Kentucky played. They're number 2 in the nation. They played Duke, number 4 in the nation. And my wife and I went to see Duke play. And I told her, these folks will win the championship. Duke spanked Kentucky last week like Joe Jackson was their daddy. And they spanked him. 30-some points. Number 2 spanked number 4. And what happened, but before the game, I told him, I'm telling you right now, y'all set them short. This is what's going to happen. So I saw the victory before it happened. You got to know that in the midst of all of it in your life, you got to see in your spiritual eye what God has already promised and what God has already revealed. And even if you don't see it in a natural, Jesus has made a promise you already have victory. So I got to learn to triumph. Can you give God one hand clap of praise for triumph? And you really this. So what happened? In the midst, right now, I'm believing God for this. I see this, but I'm believing for this. I'm believing God for healing. I feel sick right now. I got to still see my healing. I believe God for breakthrough. I feel like breaking down. I got to still focus on my breakthrough. At some point, we triumph in God by making sure we have this permanent praise. The next we have what? Permanent what? Positioning. All we're talking about now about permanent positioning is that we always stay in the right position to receive what God has for us. Got to always be ready. In other words, be conditioned to position yourself for what God has done. It's not that God's blessings have stopped, because they always flow. We are just out of position sometimes to receive them. And so I have to permanently stay right there to receive what God has for me. Right now, there are people right now across the world who need to hear a word from the Lord, who made a decision not to hear. They just got out of position. God still loves them. God still cares for them. But y'all made your way in the midst of all this cold. I still see a little frost on your glasses. But you made your way out here because you recognize there's something that's going to go on in here to help you make it on tomorrow. And you made your way. So you are positioned to receive the word that God has for you, and now can experience the manifestation God already has. You got permanent positioning. Don't just get position Sundays and then get out of position Monday. Stay in position to receive what God has. If the blessings are here, stay there. It says over there, and we'll talk about choices in just a moment. Joshua says, I set before you life and death. choose life. If you don't know, choose life. People make a decision to stay positioned to receive what God has. Now, please read this with me. Now, I love this slide here. Position yourself. What does it say? To receive. To receive what? Receive what? All that God has for your life. How many know God has some wonderful things for our lives? I say, now give God, if you know God has some wonderful things for your life,